This is the prime example of what modern art is now. And even, this is going to sound crazy. It's going to sound crazy. Even modern art has been affected by the social justice, agenda. And you're going to be like, how? How is modern art affected by social justice? And here's why. I'm going to explain to you. It's become to this point where now someone, like the boundaries of what's considered art have been moved to the left, literally, in the sense that if something is just complete bullshit and it just has no effort put behind it and it's just garbage, or sometimes literally a piece of garbage, you cannot critique it to the point where people are afraid to critique it because they'll be like, oh no, this is a commentary on blah, 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 blah. Or if you look at it this way, you're not looking at it this way, and everything is special and everything is art. And it fits into this narrative of safe spaces, even in the art world now. So now you have art exhibits where the art is just literally pieces of garbage. And because they present it in an artistic way, by meaning placing it in an art gallery, nothing more than that a lot of the times, it now becomes art. And you'll see there is a lot of these disgustingly priced pieces of art that are just garbage. I think I saw one that was, it was a piece of tinfoil framed, and the artist had a bunch of strangers come over to the piece of tinfoil and just carve random bullshit in it. People like, hey, it's like Picasso, though. Picasso is just random strokes, and it was all about the rhythmic strokes and the mathematical, emotional strokes. And it's like, you know what, Picasso, I even argue, is kind of overrated in the sense that, at least in those particular works, where it's just the random splatters. I don't buy into this, like, there's a method to his madness bullshit. But even him, I would say, put effort and meaning and some sort of message into his work. And he worked hard at a lot of his paintings. In this case now, today, no, you can't give the excuse that, oh, it's like Picasso. You even think about Andy Warhol, which basically took other people's work and just displayed it in a different way. Even that, I'm questionable. Personally, I think that's not really that artistic, a lot of Andy Warhol's shit. And he didn't even do any of his own work. He basically just kind of said, yes, no, yes, no. A lot of people might not know this. Andy Warhol never did any of his own work. People would come to him with an idea, and he would sign off or not sign off on it. He would say, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And now the question is it artistic or special to have the ability to decide which thing gets the green light and which doesn't? Because it's like this controversy over, I remember this rapper Drake, if you can call them that, the shithead Drake. There was an article where it came out that he was exposed for having ghostwriters, which basically means he had people writing his songs for him, his rap songs, hiring people to write the lyrics. And then it becomes a question of what is artistic integrity? Is it still art if what you're doing is no longer a reflection of yourself? But then people will argue, well, Drake knew which person to hire and whether or not to accept the lyrics that were given to him. So that's part of the artistic process, and he's still an artist. And so it gets into this weird territory. But even that is questionable. But modern art today has become so shitty, and people are afraid to critique it because they go, oh, if I say what I truly feel, that this is bullshit, because my gut is telling me this is bullshit. I don't care if you write a whole dissertation about how this is art because the strangers were able to show up and gracefully cut lines into this aluminum glistening foil in a particular way that's unique to this piece. And so that's why it's worth 300 grand. No, it's bullshit. And you were right the first time. And don't be afraid to tell them it's bullshit. That's what it is. A lot of people are afraid to be like, you know what? If I say this is bullshit, someone's just going to say, well, your artistic palette is just not sophisticated enough. You can't see the true meaning behind this. It's like, no, fuck you. It's bullshit. This guy's charging $250,000 for a piece of tinfoil that a bunch of retards played with. It's basically what's going on here. I was right the first time. Thank you very much. Fuck you. That's what you should be saying. More people should be saying, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I actually had an argument with Booney, and now I think of it differently because I was arguing with him that Picasso, a lot of those Picasso paintings, there's been a lot of people who have done this experiment where they take a canvas and they just splatter paint all over it. Or they will actually recreate a Picasso and see if people can tell the difference between the two. And a lot of the times people can't. They can't tell you which is which. And some people go, I can tell you which is which. I've studied Picasso's methods. I know his strokes. I know his strokes, bro. I know Picasso's strokes. And then Booney would be like, no, there was a beautiful madness to the way he painted those paintings. And I'd be like, no, this is seriously just dog shit. This is what a lot of artists do. And I brought up the example of David Cho. David Cho is the guy who painted the murals at Facebook. He started out unknown. Not many people knew his work. He got hired to paint the walls at Facebook, paint murals on the walls of Facebook. And he was given the option to either take a flat fee in cash that was not very big at that point. It wasn't that much money. Or he could take a stake in the company, a percentage of the company. I think it was 2% or something. Or maybe less than that. I don't remember the exact number. But at that point, it was not worth dog shit. Stake in Facebook was not worth anything because the company was just starting out. It was before it went public, before it was really valued at any sort of billion-dollar amount that it is now. So he was smart enough to take that. Most of the people would have took the money. So he took the percentage, and then, of course, Facebook ended up being worth billions and billions of dollars, so that stake in the company was worth fucking millions. Fucking millions of dollars. Best decision he ever made. But he admits that the way he started charging for his art was that he would make a few paintings here or there, he would charge X amount of dollars, and then he would just drive the prices up himself. He would just inflate his own prices and say, no, my paintings are worth $2,000 now. Then the next week he'd be like, nope, now it's worth $10,000 for a painting. And by raising his own price, he essentially increased his own value by doing that. So now he said, I'm not going to paint or give you this painting that I made unless you pay me this much money. And so now his fucking value went through the roof. He can make a shitload just for basically spray painting the stupid whale figure that he does everywhere. This custom whale. And so you find that that's how a lot of this art works. People say it's unique and say it's artistic, and so people just tend to believe it. Because in the art world, people are afraid to be truthful. And it's the one place where it should be all about honesty, right? And it's very weird that way. The art world is a lot of bullshit. And it's the one place it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be bullshit. It should be nothing but truth. And so I had this argument with Booney about Picasso. I was like, no. So a lot of that work is just bullshit. But because it's Picasso, he's the first one of the first people to do it. And just splatter shit everywhere. People's like, ooh, that's so amazing. And he just said, yeah, this is what it's worth. And then from there, as time went on, the value went up and up and up and up and up and up. And so now they go, oh, a Picasso is worth so and such $1 million. And it's like, how did it get to that valuation? How did it eventually get to $1 million something dollars? And I think that's what it is. People just inflate prices of art arbitrarily. No real metrics behind it, no real reason. They just make the shit up. It's made up. Same way that this fucking modern art is today. It's made up bullshit. That's why you got, and people allow it to happen. No one says anything. That's why you got Shia LaBeouf fucking sitting with a paper bag over his head saying, I'm not famous anymore, bruh. So deep and meaningful to have a paper bag because it's like covering your face. So your identity's gone. So you're disconnected from your identity and I'm not famous anymore. It just like flat out says, I'm not a celebrity, bruh. I'm detaching from that. We're all kind of just in this whirlwind of celebrity kind of, bruh. You know? It's kind of like that, bruh. Or you got him, putting a camera up and saying, come over and say he will not divide us in your own unique way. It's like people who are just spent way too much time in like art school or around artsy fartsy people. It's bizarro. It's bizarro world. And it's like no effort is being put into this shit and people are eating it. Eating it up. I'm angry, I know. I'm an angry person. All right, we're almost at the 3-hour mark here. Don't know how I did that. Whoop.